What's up guys, it's Supercar Blondie here. It's freezing. I don't deal with the cold very well. I'm Aussie and I've lived in Dubai for the past 10 years. So I'm going to say this really quickly. I have put myself into this ice bar in order to kind of experience the temperatures that this next filmmaker has to endure in order to get the perfect shot. This is part of our Behind the Lens series where we track the most incredible photographers and filmmakers around the world. Just imagine having to shoot in minus 40 degrees. Take a look at this.
For most of the time when I'm going to cold places, I'm going there for work. So there's an element of a work trip about it. This is my job, and if I don't do it well, then I won't get the next job. I don't think anyone enjoys being cold, and myself included, but I feel like sometimes I can function in the cold a bit better. I'm very fortunate to have travelled a lot with this job. I've been to Antarctica and the Arctic several times. I've done lots of work in mountain regions. It's either 24-hour daylight or hardly any light at all, but both of the times it's cold.
I'm still so not used to being on camera. It just feels so extraordinarily reversed.
I mostly shoot with DSLRs just because of the small scale, it's light, and DSLR batteries are usually ones that can be feasibly and easily recharged by solar panels. I can't carry a big shoulder mounted camera around on some of these expeditions, it's just impractical. I didn't actually study filmmaking, but I used to work part-time as a projectionist in a cinema, and I'd have to watch the same film about 10 times every week. That's where I got my film education from. Whilst I was working at Screen on the Green, I made a short film about what the job was like, and that's how I ended up doing more documentary work. The very first polar film project I worked on was a Ben Saunders project where he was skiing to the North Pole. I went to film all the preparations that they had beforehand in the north coast of Canada. Packing the food, the sled, trimming down bits of gear, anything you could do to save weight. On an expedition, you want to be as minimally disruptive as possible. You don't want to slow things down, you don't want to make things more dangerous. On some expeditions, to get the shots that I need to, I kind of speed up away from the group or I lag behind. And then you have to catch up with the people again, because you don't want them to wait. Like, it isn't a film set that we're on. I think everything takes a little bit longer when it's cold. From melting snow to get water to have a hot drink. The pace at which you move in the cold is slower. It's a very simple way of life. Everything that you need to survive is in a sled behind you. It's an environment that gives your mind a lot of time to think. And it's such a rarity to have that tranquility of mind. I feel like the experiences that you can have here are not experiences you can have anywhere else. And once you've had those, you just want to have more of them. It's very addictive. The work that I do is usually quite remote, so anything that goes wrong is compounded by the fact that it takes a long time to get any assistance or help. And also because of the remoteness, it's not very easy to back up stuff. It might be weeks or even months before you're able to duplicate that footage. The job I'm doing now is very different to how it might have been done 100 years ago. It's really easy to access some of these very remote places. You get there within 24 hours. And with that accessibility comes this question on whether or not people should go there as tourists. I feel like if you are able to come here and see this environment, you should almost have a duty to then return home and do your part in some way to ensure that it remains the same as when you left it. Being a filmmaker in the Antarctic or the Arctic is a great privilege to do, but it can be really frustrating because you are constantly spending your time behind a lens. So I do get quite envious of people who don't have to go with a camera. I like as much as possible to just have moments where I know that I filmed everything I need to and I can just be in the landscape. I feel like when people ask me what I do for a living, I know I hold back in telling people how much I enjoy my job, but sometimes when I confide in someone, I will say that it is the best job ever.